Welcome. This is Mr. Perry. Our reading for today is Types of Government. Off with his head! This is a favorite storyline to show how cruel a king or a sultan or an emperor can be. The rules in this type of government are pretty clear. Whatever the ruler says goes. Of course, many people have had different ideas about how the ruler should govern. Those beliefs support totally different types of government. The rules shape the government's legitimacy, or the degree to which the people accept the authority of the government. Rule by man. Countries whose citizens are governed by the absolute decisions of the ruler have not necessarily been unhappy. A government whose king or queen rules justly and wisely may enjoy a great deal of legitimacy as long as the ruler's authority is accepted. Sometimes people may accept their leader because they are afraid of the consequences if they don't. In the words of Machiavelli, it is better to be feared than loved. As long as the feared ruler is seen as bringing about prosperity or protecting the lives of its subjects, it is entirely possible that his people will be happy. An absolute ruler may be accepted because the people believe or accept the idea that God gave him or her the right to rule. This belief is known as divine right, which often has been associated with a monarchy, a form of government in which the power of the king or queen is hereditary, or they were born with it. A similar idea legitimized the Chinese emperor, whose rule was threatened if his subjects perceived that he had lost the mandate of heaven. Rule by man can also take the shape of an oligarchy, or rule by a few elites whose right to rule is based on possession of wealth, social status, military position, or achievement. A little more broadly based rule is by aristocracy, literally rule of the highest. But if the type of government is rule by man, their decisions are still arbitrary and absolute. Rule by law. Rule by law exists in any political system in which those with power cannot make up all their own rules, but must follow an established code of law. In ancient times, a Byzantine emperor established Justinian's Code, a set of laws named after him that lived on long after he died. We still follow parts of that code today. The Romans were also known for codifying laws, as was Napoleon, Emperor of France, many centuries later. Today, most governments at least claim to be ruled by law. The most common indication is the existence of a written constitution. But the most important question to ask is whether or not the Constitution actually is the blueprint that determines how and what policies are made. For example, Nigeria officially is a democracy with a written constitution that one dictator after another has ignored. On the other hand, Great Britain has never had a constitution as a single written document, but has for centuries been governed by law. For much of their history, the English had a limited monarchy, or a king or queen, who has followed rule of law. So, whether a king can order off his head depends on the type of government that is accepted in his country. If he sets the rules, rule by man, or if the accepted outside rules allow, rule by law, the victim doesn't have a chance. So there you have it. Take those notes. Let's get it done. Hit it or quit it.